best car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
We have the owners of that fine establishment here live in the studio, ready, willing, and certainly more than able to answer any questions that you might have. If you want to get the price of a car or a truck or an SUV, you give us a call, 476-1007. Get it? 476-1007. If you're outside the calling area, add 888 to that number, and it's free then if you're in Mobile or wherever, up in Alabama, Defuniak. And without further ado, let us introduce those owners. I'm speaking of Iven Streckel and Ron Schneider from Frontier Motors.
Hey, Don, thanks so much for the introduction.
Thank you very, very much. And yes, we're here with our cable TV viewers, and we're here on the radio live on WCOA FM. And this is a call-in show. So if you're out there listening and you need a value, like Don Parker said, we'll be glad to do that. Ivan is manned over there with the computer, and inside that computer, we can bring you the NADA values, which are the values used by your banks, credit unions, most of your lenders, probably 99% of your lenders, and sometimes your insurance company. Then also, we got the Black Book Guides, the secret book. The Black Book Guides are derived from the averages of all the cars sold in the southeast United States at auto auction. It hasn't anything to do with retail or the banks or anything like that. And then, of course, the next thing that's in that side, that little computer screen right there, is the Manheim Market Report. And Manheim is the largest auto auction in the United States. And all those are in front of us, and we can help you out with those values. For those watching on cable TV, all you got to do is dial up the dealership's number. You'll see it running across the bottom of the screen. But for those listening out there on today's radio, up in Pineapple, Alabama, Crestview, Alabama, over there in Mobile, Alabama, it's 476-1007.
You know, with the internet these days, with the internet, you can listen all over the world, can't you, Don? From everywhere if you log in.
You can. We used to have an airline pilot that would call us routinely from Tokyo, Japan, because he would listen to us. Yeah,
that's kind of cool. Yeah. So this is, might not just be in the Pensacola area. Frontier Motors has been doing this show for going on 16 years now. One of the reasons that we do this show is not just to get the name out to Frontier Motors, that we are a great used car dealership with over 300 cars in inventory, but it's really to get the word out that there's a dealership in the Pensacola area that will help you and give you advice on what you should do with your car when it's time to replace the car, or maybe if you have a friend or relative that's meaning to buy the car. And we do this whether you buy a car from us or not. And the reason we give this information to our customers is because we feel that if we help them get a deal or help them out, dispose of their vehicle, that when they're ready to buy a car, they'll at least give us a shot. And it's really been working out. You know, a lot of people always say, I had a customer the other day, Ron, I did an appraisal for. It took me about maybe 15 minutes, and his final words were, "How much do I owe you?" I said, "You don't owe me anything." "You're kidding me." I says, "No." He said, "Well, I took up your time. Let me at least give you, $50. I said, "No, we do this all day long, and we're going to be there from 9 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. What we do is we give values and we give advice to customers." Now, that customer didn't buy a car. He just wanted to know what his cars were worth in case he wanted to sell it. But you know what's going to happen? When he is ready to replace the car, I've got a feeling he's going to come back to Frontier Motors and give me a shot at his business. And that's what the whole thing is about. You might not be ready right now. Sometimes we've had listeners that have listened to the show for 10 years till they finally went through an intersection, got whacked by one of those texting drivers that didn't stop for the red light, and now they need a new car. They thought, I didn't think I'd need you guys for another 10 years. I'm one of these guys that keep their car for 20 years. But they needed us immediately because they wanted to find out what the value of their total vehicle was to make sure they're getting the right dollar amount from their insurance company, because that's what we advertise. And we're one of the few dealerships that put that price in writing for you.
Yep, and Ivan's got some good advice. Values. You could be doing a financial statement. You need some values. We'll be glad to put it in writing. You could be doing tax statements where you need some values. I have a company right around the 15th, probably April 1st. They call me up and they call me with all their trucks. I guess they're depreciating their trucks or something, serial numbers and everything, and I give them something in writing, fax them to them. But for total, just like Ivan said, the customer that just totaled the car. Before you settle with your insurance company, please call either us or call a car dealership and have them book out a car, get something in writing so that when you go back into the market, you're not totally surprised. There's a lot of good insurance companies. I mentioned Ronnie Day's insurance company up there last Friday. There's a lot of good ones out there, and they even have their clients call us to make sure they're getting the right value and discuss that with the claims. So just do that. They're all free. You don't have to pretend you're buying a car from us. You don't have to pretend you're buying a car from us today. You can just call us on the show, 476-1007. Don is standing by with the buttons. Ivan and I don't know how to do buttons. We're just used car guys. We seem to know how to talk very well.
If we could figure out how to do buttons, we wouldn't need Don anymore.
Out goes the host. But we're talking about Frontier Motors, a little bit about Frontier Motors. We're an independent dealership in Pensacola, Florida. If you're listening on the radio or watching on cable TV, we, like I say, have been on this radio show for 16 years. In our 17th year of business, it took a little while to get some money up so we could pay the radio show to do the
They should be paying us.
They should actually
We're advertising for WCOA radio now. Even though this might be on cable, we're advertising for WCOA.
Yeah.
Behind us, by the way, at 1370, that's an AM station in Pensacola that's been around. That's the oldest station in Pensacola. And we also
1926.
1926, Don. I didn't know that. I knew it was old. I didn't know it was that old. And you probably started it.
I was close, yeah.
when he came out of high school.
Let's go ahead and take a call, Don.
This is Denver, as in the city. He's calling from Elsinore, Alabama.
Oh, very, very good. Denver, how can we help you?
I've got a van here that I'm wanting to sell, and I understand that you guys can give us a quote.
Sure. Absolutely. What you got?
I've got a 1999 Express 3 Chevrolet van. It's a 15-passenger. It's got 64,000 and some odd miles on it.
Excellent. Probably the 250 or the 350 model. Do you know if it's the 3/4 ton or the 1-ton model?
I believe it's a 3/4 ton.
Very good. All right. And Ivan, he said it had about 64,000 miles on it, and it's one of them big old.
It's a 15 passenger with 64, and it's a 99. Kind of low miles for a 99 Denver. They haven't used it. Going on 15 years old, 64,000 miles. Has about a $15,000 mileage add, and they really don't add for too much as far as equipment is concerned. The only thing they would add for is if you have, they do deduct if you have a 6-cylinder. I'm assuming it's a V8. And
Yes.
yeah, and back then they actually made a diesel, but that was very rare. So I know you don't have a diesel. And the loan value. Now I'm going to use the NEDA value, and the reason I'm using the NEDA value is because if somebody was able to get a loan on it, some of the banks won't borrow money on a vehicle that's old, but every once in a while you might trip across a credit union that might still borrow money on it. And it says that the loan value, which is supposed to be wholesale, is about $4,100, and the retail value is $65. So you got about a $2,400 spread between the wholesale and between the retail. So if you were going to sell this vehicle yourself, I would just round that off to about $6,000. And the only reason that sounds really cheap for a 15-passenger van, but you've got to remember that when you get in a vehicle that's close to 14 years old, it's going to, even though you only got 60,000 miles on it, people get a little bit skeptical on it. But I'm thinking that if you retailed it, figure about $6,000, and if you brought it to a dealership and wanted to trade it for a newer one, they would appraise it for about $4,000.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right,
You're
Dennis,
welcome very
thanks for
much.
calling the show. I appreciate it.
Sometimes we ask what they're going to do with it, if they're going to trade it or sell it, but the value of the car really doesn't change no matter which one you're going to do, but it sometimes helps them decide if they're going to put it, like for instance, they're going to put this for advertisement. Great place to put an advertisement might be something like Craigslist because it's less expensive, and also the number 2 hit places are Cars.com and Autotrader.com. Sometimes you can get a little bit of response. For instance, there might be a church out there just dying to have something like this.
Yeah.
Maybe a church that just needs a youth van or something like this. It's only got 64,000 miles. So if you're listening out there, Denver, and you want to sell it retail, advertise, and maybe call a few of your bigger churches around the area, and you might find you a buyer.
And I'm your competition, Denver. If you're still listening, I'm sure he is. I'm your competition. I just bought a 2003 I bought an 8-passenger.
Yeah,
so that's
you bought
not
a-
the
yeah,
that's not the same.
Cowboy,
I bought an 8-passenger that I can sell for probably around the 99 range. But the 15-passenger is a unique market. It's starting to get a little bit difficult to get insurance on these vehicles.
Yeah.
Because of the liability, and back in it was about 2 years ago, Ron. Remember, we had some issues with not being able to get insurance anymore because they had some rollover issues. I know that those things have been corrected, and it's interesting. Remember the old Ford Explorer with the Firestone tire fiasco? That was like 5 years ago. Nobody even asks about them anymore.
Yeah.
You sell Ford Explorers all day long. It's like it's forgotten.
Well, some people may not, but if you own one, maybe you may not have. But we're talking about used cars and used cars in general, what's going on during the day. And one of the things that we do differently at Frontier Motors is we try to give you enough information to make a decision while you're at Frontier Motors. And if you're going to shop Frontier Motors and you see the great inventory. We have over 300 cars, $6.4 million in cars. We try to have things like these around. This is the new Motor Trend magazine. Gives you a lot of ups and downs of what cars and stuff like this. The Car and Driver magazine. A lot of information in here for safety, cars that have some sporty ability. You know, we have some Camaros in stock. And then we also have the new car cost guides. And these new car cost guides, we actually have since we opened up the place in 1996. So you could actually really find a lot of information in there. And also the consumer guides. Ivan's a big consumer guide, Parsons, so am I. And when we look for appliances or we look for cars, we always look in there. And those are things that we do differently at Frontier Motors than you might find down the street, around the corner in Car City or in Mobile. We want to give you information where some places don't want to give you enough information because they think you're going to scare away. But, having the black books available, having the NADA, having that new car cost guide or these magazines makes it easier to buy a car. And that's kind of what our premise is.
The whole premise about making it easy, and Ron, I just read in my automotive news that the average customer, this is brand new off the presses.
Brand new off the press, so everybody better listen closely.
The average used car customer shops 16 hours online before they go to a dealership. And what's happening right now, because of all that research, they're not going to a lot of dealerships. Years ago, you'd go to Car City. Why does all the dealers want to be together? Because you go from one car dealership to the next, and you just shop around. And you know why you do that? Because you didn't know what they had in stock. Because you would look in the newspaper. Remember back when they had the newspapers, Ron? You remember that far? You'd look in the newspaper.
Back in the 1900s.
And the ads would be in the newspaper, and you'd go looking down, and if you're looking for a Chevy pickup truck, they'd have them all lined up, Chevy pickup trucks, and that's how you figured out who had it. And then you go to the dealership, well, they had it sold already, so you just gave up on the newspaper, and you went from one to the next to the next. And that's how, not just in Pensacola, I'm from the Milwaukee area. They have a Car City, Milwaukee area. There's suburbs of Milwaukee. Every place that has any type of population has a Car City. Well, we're not in Car City, and one of the reasons is because they had the internet when we started out. They had the internet going back in 1996 when we started Frontier Motors, and we figured out, number one, that we don't have to do newspaper advertising, but we also figured out that if we have a really good website and we list our cars with 21 to 31 detailed photographs with a good description of the car, that people don't have to go to all these different dealerships. And they're contacting us. They see the car online. They're contacting us, and they negotiate before they even get there. It is so cool that you can come in and the car that you're talking about is sitting in our delivery row ready for a test drive and an inspection. And if a test drive is okay and its specs okay, we already have the price out of the way. A lot of people also, Ron, and I had a customer this morning call me, he's got a 2007 Corvette with 100,000 miles on it. I can appraise his car without seeing it. And then what I do is I give him a figure less any other reconditioning that's over normal wear and tear. A 100,000-mile car is going to have some scratches in it. But if it needs tires, I'm going to deduct. If it needs a windshield, I'm going to deduct if the check engine light's on. So we can do all this before you come in. And that's what makes it easy. Ron led into it. What makes us different is that we can have this all done before you even come to the dealership. Now, let's say you're one type of person that is not a computer geek, that you're not in the computer and you just pop into Frontier Motors. Our salespeople unlock all of our 300 cars every morning. So you can actually shop at your leisure. We've got a great window sticker. All of the warranties are marked on the vehicle. I don't think you'll find, other than a wholesale car, you won't find a car on Frontier Motors lot that doesn't have at least a 1 month to a 3 month warranty, if not the remainder of the factory warranty. But we make it so easy for you to get a price that we give you the price list. Ron, you got one of those price lists right there?
Yep, we got one right here.
We give the customer the price list when they walk in. So let's say you say, well, I really don't know what I want. I don't want a salesman bothering me really that much. We'll give you this price list, and we'll say, here. It's an alphabetical order, and I'll give you the Acura Coupe, for example. We're asking $10,900, and we have it on the internet for $9,900. So you already know what the price is. You know that it's got 80,000 miles on. You know it's an 03, it's an S model. You know the equipment on it. Boom, it's there. It's easy. Throw us the keys for your car, give us a little bit of information in the background. We tell you what your car's worth, and the next step Ron will do is he'll give you the bottom line. Taxes, titles, doc fee, everything out the door. So if you are going to go to the next dealership, you've got it in writing. And if that next dealership doesn't put the price in writing, we tell you to scratch him off the list and go to the next one.
Or you could go through this. You could go to a car lot, you could get one of these guys, and then they would look at you through their sunglasses, and they'd say, how much is that used car? And you'd say, they'd look at a little code on the back, and they'd look at you, and they'd look at your trade-in, they'd look at your wife and your kids, and they'd say, it's this much. And they'd see what they get away with it. But at Frontier Motors, we'd rather just do it the other way.
Did you bring that? Is that your prop?
No, this is, actually, I have to wear sunglasses because of my
you are one of those. You are one of those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
you're
I
one of those
guys.
complexion.
Yeah, I am.
He's one of those
no,
guys
but I'm not
he's
one of
talking about.
But I'm not one of these guys that does
Those are
that
his
pricing
glasses.
that way. You know, the pricing is
You probably have
it
a
doesn't
white long
include-
sleeve shirt too, with a
White belt and some white
tie.
shoes.
White belt,
I
white
got
shoes,
white
the full,
shoes, yeah.
full Cleveland, they
No,
call
I-
it.
I retired that when I got out of the
cliche
new
a
car industry.
salesman, why does a car salesman have to have a like a plaid tie, and where do the white shoes come from?
It's
Is it the
just
used car
slick.
movie?
They look slick.
Was it the old used cars?
Yeah.
Movie used cars.
I don't know. Some people want us to look pretty slick. When you come to Frontier Motors, we do dress nicely. We do dress casually. We're in shorts and something comfortable, and it's always been that way. And Ivan, Jetty, and I on the top up here told our salespeople to make sure they dress nice and dress comfortable because
they
it is
do.
warm out there.
They are comfortable, but they always are very neat. They're not sloppy.
And and when you're out there in 80 and 90 degree weather, as it comes up here into the summer now, you got to be comfortable, and we want you to be comfortable. We also got a nice little golf cart for you to ride around. You know, Ivan said we had 300 cars in stock. You ever tried to look at 300 cars when it's 90 degrees? You can't really do that. And a lot of our salespeople are ready to help you out. And Ivan was talking about the sheet. Sometimes instead of just looking at all the different places, you can sit down right there with the salespeople. And you can go through all the cars that you might want to look at. Because you may have a budget. You may have a $250 a month budget. We can go through those cars inside without going to look all over the lot. You know, a lot of salespeople don't do that. And the reason they don't do that, they're trying to wear you down. We're not trying to wear you down. We're trying to help you buy a car. And we keep these magazines. We keep the prices. We keep the information. You know, one of the pieces of information there on the sheet is how much you can borrow at a bank on there in case you're borrowing money. And about 55-60% of our customers borrow the money for the cars. The others have the ability to pay for them when they're doing that. So they need that information. But I think giving more people information, like Ivan said, when we opened up the dealership in 1996, computers were there. You know, the Pensacola News Journal was the place to be. Well, it kind of still is because now they have cars.com. And they've seen it coming. So cars.com is all of our internet. It's all of our cars. It's all of the things to see. Matter of fact, it was voted the #1 easiest place to go look for a car. So if you're looking for a car and you want to look for a specific type, go to cars.com. But what's happening is if you're looking for an Acura like Ivan was just talking about, or if you're looking for a 2011 Cadillac SRX with 17,000 miles, it's going to lead you right to Frontier Motors, to our website, and then peek around what we have. But shopping around the internet is a good way to do that, but you still got to talk to somebody. And we ran into this a lot. Trying to contact the dealer after you see it on the internet, most of them grab your email, grab your number, grab this, grab that. We don't. We still have the same old number that we started with, 436-8080 at the dealership. That's 436-8080 at the dealership. A nice young lady will answer the phone, and she'll pass you off to a salesperson, and you don't have to worry about us capturing anything, you know?
Some of these dealerships
It's impossible to talk
are
to
a
them.
joke. You know,
Yeah.
we had a customer the other day that found a car on another dealer's website. It was out of state. And they said, here, I will pay you a profit. I don't want to have time to mess around with it. Go ahead and buy that car for me. He knew what they were advertising the car for, and I'll give you $1,000 profit. It cost me about $300 to ship the car. I'm still making $700. I said, I'll do that. We couldn't get someone on the phone. We were prepared to pay them full list, their advertised price. This was a used Cadillac out of the state, and we could not. And we told them, we left a message with their internet department. This is Frontier Motors. You've got your car advertised for $35,000. We're prepared to write you a cashier's check for $35,000 for your car. Could you have someone call me back, please?
Yeah.
3 days later.
Yeah, the sales manager, anybody.
Nobody called back within 3 days.
And then you went to their website, which is really strange. You went to their website, and the only number on their website was back to the internet company, the internet thing, not to a general manager or a new car manager or a sales manager. You want to talk to Ivan? Ask for Ivan when you call Frontier Motors. You want to ask for Ron? If we're there, ask for Ron. You know, if you want to talk to one of the sales managers, Keisha or Todd Gordon, ask for a sales manager. They'll get on the phone. That's the difference between all these dealerships doing it the archaic way, or they think they're doing it in the future. I don't know if they think they're doing car business 2035 or if they're doing it, archaic.
What's the use of having a website if you don't answer it?
But anyways, we're talking about values and values on cars. If you want to join us on the show, you can. Out there in Radio Land, I know you were talking about politics and things going on and bad things and good things. Hey, we're just talking about used cars. 476-1007.
And when we talk about the internet a little bit, Ron, one of the things that is the negative thing about the internet is that when we buy a car, it takes an average of about 3 days to get it on the internet. And let me just, folks, if you stopped in at Frontier Motors in the last 3 days, let me just tell you what we bought in just 3 days.
And you
That
wouldn't
would
see on
not
the
be
internet.
On the internet.
All right.
We bought a 2012 Avenger, a white one. We bought a 2012 Avenger, a silver one, a 13 Dodge Charger, a 13 Dodge Journey, a 2003 Club Wagon, a 2012 Mustang GT with only 3,000 miles on, an 04 Ranger, an 09 Ranger, 02 Taurus, an 03 regular cab F-150, a 2011 Honda CR-V EXL, a 2012 Jeep Liberty, a 2012 Altima, an 08 BMW 5 Series, an 09 Avalanche, an 05 Dodge Crew Cab, an 09 Ford Ranger, an 08 Odyssey EXL, an 07 Chevy Corvette convertible, a 2013 Fusion Titanium, an 09 Ranger with a 5-speed, an 08 Civic SI, 09 Hyundai Sonata, a 2012 Lincoln MKX Premium with 8,000 miles, a 2012 Nissan Versa with 3,000 miles, and a 2012 Suzuki SX4 with 27,000 miles. That's just 3 days worth of cars that you wouldn't have seen, and that's why I urge everybody that's looking for a particular car, leave your name and number, because if you're looking for something specific, you might walk out of there, and 3 hours later, it might be sitting there.
Yeah, we're only open till 6, so we won't bother you. We're at dinner, and most of our salespeople won't bother you anyways too much unless we got the car. And that's the way it should be. You know, Ivan mentioned the 2007 Chevrolet Corvette that we have. And if you're in the used car business, you take pride in bringing something like this in. We have a consignment program, and we buy cars. We buy a lot of cars off the street. But this particular gentleman, we consigned it because he wanted a little bit more than wholesale. But it is the nicest, cleanest 2000 Chevrolet Corvette convertible with navigation with 28,000 miles you've ever seen. And matter of fact, he didn't want to leave it there the first time he was there. You know why? Because it might rain on it. He said it's been in the rain one time, but he wanted to sell it. He convinced himself. He really did. He convinced himself. He convinced himself that he would bring it and let it sit there, and we would take care of it for him. So if you're looking for the prettiest 07 Corvette, we got it at Frontier Motors. I think we got a call.
Ray from Pensacola.
Hey, Ray, how can we help you?
Hey guys, I got a quick question. I have an older vehicle that I am in the process of donating
All right.
To the church, and I'd like to get a donation value on it if I could, please.
Absolutely.
How old is it?
It's an 87 Ranger.
Oh, boy.
87 Ford Ranger.
94 is as old as I go, Ron.
87? Okay. Well, what we can do for you, we do have the capabilities of doing that at the car lot. We can only go back to 87. And if you need something in writing...
94.
94?
Yeah, I got the old car guidebook here.
How far back does it go?
Ray, and it goes back to 94.
But I still can do it.
Ron's got a website that he has subscribed to that he can get you something in writing on that 84 that might help you with with your write off. And I'm sure that's what you wanted for. Is that right?
Yeah, I just want to get a ballpark estimate, so whenever I do turn it into them and I get the form, to fill out for IRS for donated goods, then I'm not going to send up a red flag saying, you took too much for it, kind of thing.
Let me tell you what you can do while we're on the air here and listen to all the other people out there like we give information. NADA.com has the older vehicles in there.
Okay.
So if you go to NADA.com, that might help you. If it confuses you a little bit, just call me at the dealership here. Give me about 30 minutes or so. We'll be there. We're open from 9 till 6 there, and it's easy to do. Now, remember, some of the tax laws are different. Sometimes you got to wait till they sell it, depending on how much it is. But anyways, for anybody out there, we do that absolutely free also.
Right. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to sell it. They're actually going to use it.
Oh,
so.
excellent.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very good.
That's
Donate it. Yeah, very good.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks for calling the show. Yeah, they did. They screwed up with those laws a couple of years ago. I'm really still ticked.
Don't they always, huh?
Remember years ago, Don, you give your car to the mission?
Right.
If I do an NED, like let's say the car was worth it's a $1,000 car,
Right.
but the NED value was $3,000.
You write that
People
down.
were giving them away right and left because they could deduct $3,000 off their taxes. So if you're, let's say, a 33% tax, it's almost like getting $1,000 for it.
Sure,
So they're
sure.
saying instead of selling it for $1,000, at least I'm giving it to somebody.
But you're right. They've completely changed the whole
changed
thing.
that, and the government gets their fingers and everything.
Oh, now you're starting to talk
let's do a
about
political
we said we were
story,
going
Don.
away
I'm
from
on a roll.
politics. I have
But
to knock
anyways,
you off your soapbox there.
car for $10,900, but I'm making them happy by writing them a check, and I'm getting my customers coming in. They're paying what the vehicle should be worth, and a lot of times the way that I can make out is I can take a trade-in. and I'll sell that car, and then I'll take another trade-in, and it really makes everybody happy out there that they don't have to have people come over the house and have that little safety factor going on that we talk about, the scamorama.
Scamorama. Why are you listening to us? Why should you listen to Frontier Motors? We've become the #1 independent dealership in the state of Florida. We're doing business in Pensacola, Florida. We're doing business every day. We're selling over 200 cars a month, and that puts us right in the middle of this market, folks. And if you want free advice, and it is free advice, there's no gimmicks in it. You can email us at frontiermotorsinc.com if you wanted to. If you wanted to call us at 436-8080, put that in your cell phone, and maybe if you ever need advice on a car value, you could be this weekend, coming up this weekend, you could be driving around, see a car on the side of the road Saturday, and you could be over there in Alabama somewhere, Mobile or something, and you look at it and you're trying to decide, are they asking not enough? Are they asking too much? You call us right on that cell phone if you put our number in there, Frontier Motors. 436-8080, and we'd be glad to give you an unbiased opinion of what's going on in the market. And if they're asking too much, we might tell you what we have in stock to compare to that, but we're not going to try and sell you ours. What we're going to do is keep you from paying too much. And the same thing is, if you get a total vehicle, before you settle, we want to make sure that you're getting paid enough. So when you get back into that market, and let's say you lost some loved ones out there, maybe you're trying to settle an estate. Most of those prices, I even talk about buying cars or putting cars on consignment, we guarantee those prices for 7 days. So if you want to back away from the dealership, get out of the pressures, they say, of the car business, and go talk to your husband, wife, or wherever you got siblings, we up to 7 days our bids are. So we make it easy. We'll let you understand, and we'll show you on the screen what's going on in the market. Makes it real easy, real simple.
Some of these people that have their car advertised on the internet, Ron, they need to call us for advice. They really do. Because I told you I looked at 25 cars, and there's four that I bought. The rest of them, out of the 25, there was about 10 of them that were so stupid as far as what they were asking.
Not stupid. Don't say stupid, because we don't want to make them mad.
Well, they don't know who it is. They don't know which one out there is stupid. I'm not
ignorant. Let's say they were ignorant.
I'm not talking about that cargo van I saw that was a $10,000 cargo van. They were asking $18,000 for it.
That's a little stupid.
Where did they get this from? Now I know you can go online and get the Kelly Blue Book, the Edmunds, which we don't use in our area. We use the NEDA. Right. But even if you look at the Kelly, I did that. I used the Kelly Blue Book, the NEDA value, and Edmunds, and all of them said about $10,000 to $11,000.
It was way off.
They have advertised for $18,000. I'm thinking, was there like a block of gold in the trunk or something that we don't know about? But anyways, that's what I'm saying is that why don't you call us for advice? If you're going to retail your car yourself, call us and we'll tell you what you should ask for the vehicle where it's a quick sale. You don't want to be the cheapest one out there, but you definitely don't want to be in the stratosphere.
Yeah, you don't want
these guys were.
You don't be called stupid on the radio or anything, So, but just do it.
Sorry,
Ivan's giving you good advice.
I think I owe you an apology.
Well, no, that's one of the reasons we've done this show, and this show's been successful. That we're giving values out there absolutely free, and it's done at Frontier Motors. Frontier Motors, located at 230 Beverly Parkway. We got a few minutes left here. Our website is frontiermotorsinc.com. frontiermotorsinc.com. And anytime you call, if you'd like to know some of these values in the NADA book, Black Book, or anything like that, just give one of the folks over there or down there at Frontier Motors, Ivan Streckel, Ron Schneider. We have 2 sales managers, Todd Gordon and Keisha Streckel, and then have 11 great salespeople. Use those salespeople to help you on the lot, because it's much easier when you show up at Frontier Motors and it's 88 degrees or 89 degrees, to use one of our salespeople, because they know where these cars are. They open them every day, like Ivan said earlier. They understand the business. They love to give you information, and they try to make it as easy as possible. Hey, there's a salesman in this world that doesn't like easy as possible, so that's what we try to do, and that's what we try to keep going at Frontier Motors.
We've only got a minute left. Check out our website, frontiermotorsinc.com. 300 cars in inventory, 21 to 31 detailed photographs. About 70% of them have prices. The other 30% that don't, there's a link there for emailing or a phone number where we'll get you that price within a matter of minutes. The only reason they don't have prices is because we just got them, so sometimes we don't even have the bill of sale on the cars yet. Also, I have a great locate program. If you're looking for a particular car, I've got a customer call me yesterday, Ron, says he wants an Escalade. Wants a Pearl White Escalade. He asked me to buy it for him. He knows I'll be fair on the price, and he doesn't want to mess around with it, and that's where Frontier Motors comes in.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Remember, everybody drives a used car.
Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.
Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay. Come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier. We've got the right price. Frontier. We'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors. Low overhead country.